blood spilled during the contest rather than the outcome to determine who is the strongest among you. I guess that would be an accurate depiction of a cold and cruel master. Despite the darkness of Boethiah's fear and influence on Tamriel, the prince is considered in Morrowind to be the second of the three good Daedra, alongside Azura, and the Prince of Plots is somehow an ally, yes, an ally, of Stendarr, the god of mercy, charity, and justice, who has an entire order dedicated to eradicating Daedra worship, the Vigil of Stendarr.
Daedra are the worst. Their callous disregard for our lives is abhorrent in the eyes of the God of Mercy.
Now what I want to know is, has Boethiah succeeded in deceiving the God of Mercy into becoming allies, or does Boethiah have knowledge about Stendarr that he would rather not come into light? Boethiah has no gender and can appear as a male or a female if the prince so wishes. I guess as the Deceiver of Nations you would want to keep your real identity a secret. However, in Tamrielic lore, Boethiah is often referred to as being female, but even so, Boethiah will appear using different avatars in whatever race and gender as the prince sees fit. Boethiah's prized servants are the Hunger, savage Daedra known for their long tongues, demonic appearance, and their taste for mortal flesh. Hungers have even been said to be more ferocious in the presence of a living body. The Hunger uses its long tongue to siphon the life out of its prey. It also makes use of its razor-sharp claws and can spew out poisonous bile. They possess a paralysing touch and have the uncanny ability to quickly destroy their opponents. These Hunger are the Guardians of Attribution's Share, formerly known as Snakemount. For reasons unknown, Boethiah keeps changing the name of her Plane of Oblivion. The plane itself is a country of labyrinthian policies and betrayals. It is home to many maze gardens, twisted towers, and seas of lava. The land mirrors Boethiah herself, tricky, deceptive, and hard to negotiate. Constant vigilance is essential to survive in Attribution's Share. During the early Merithic era, some of the Aldmer worshipped the Aedroth known as Trinimac as their chief god. These early Aldmer generally lamented their mortal existence being caused by the trickery of Lorkhan, who manipulated the gods into giving up their immortality to create Nirn. During this period, Boethiah began appearing in the dreams of a young prophet called Veloth. She began by preaching an alternative viewpoint to him, that the Aldmer were weak and unworthy of their immortality, and that their mortal existence was a trial to which all Mer had to endure. The young prophet Veloth and his followers began preaching this viewpoint to a group of Trinimac's followers. The priests of Trinimac were disgusted, shocked, and even horrified at the blasphemy that Veloth had spoken. Word had soon reached Trinimac about this viewpoint, and he had suspected Boethiah was behind such treachery. Trinimac attempted to stop Boethiah from spreading this blasphemy, but Boethiah tricked Trinimac and she literally swallowed Trinimac whole. As the priests of Trinimac prepared to denounce Veloth and his cult and publicly pass judgment on them, Boethiah appeared before them in the guise and with the voice of Trinimac. Boethiah began to tell them of the lies of the Aedra and of Trinimac. He spoke of the triangled truth and how to create the future Chimer culture with Mephala and the rules of the Sijic Endeavour. When he was sure the priests were ashamed and broken, and as proof of the truth of his words, Boethiah relieved himself of Trinimac in front of the crowd. All of those who renounced Trinimac became Boethiah's new followers, the Changed Ones. It is said that after Trinimac being swallowed, his soul was tortured by Boethiah. Eventually Boethiah grew bored of this and released him, later exiling him to a plane of ash. Trinimac had become twisted and enraged after this torture and corrupted. He then faded away and was reborn as Malakath. The former Aedra's most devoted followers changed with him, becoming the Orcs. However, according to Orcish accounts of the battle, Trinimac was about to deal a terrific blow to Boethiah when Mephala appeared and stabbed him in the back. As Trinimac was reeling, Boethiah cast a terrible ritual to scar and twist his appearance, before banishing Trinimac to a plane of choking air and ash. In the 582nd year of the Second Era, Boethiah had a hand in the formation of the Maliborn, manipulating Uriel Vox into stealing the judgment of Veloth to avenge her son. A mysterious chimera spirit by the name of Aspera also appeared around this time period, seeking to help the Vestige in acquiring the power of St. Veloth and stopping Magistrate Vox. Aspera would show up once again in Eastmarch in the form of Aspera, Giant Friend, a mysterious Dunmer who could commune with the giants. She was instrumental in the Ebonheart Pact's defeat of Filgor Orcathane's army of orcs. By forging an alliance with the giants to overtake Cradle Crush, the ritual arena of Malakath, when asked about who her master was, she refused to answer the question, simply stating that some grudges are ancient and some answers are beyond your understanding. Later that same year, Boethiah held a tournament at the Dragonstar Arena in the Dragontail Mountains. Participants from across all of Tamriel came to try and defeat her champion, Haeth the Battlemaster. Here Aspera appeared once again as an observer of the event, but this time as a living Dunmer. She references her time as a chimera spirit and as a friend to the giants, and heavily implies that she has been an aspect of Boethiah. This would mean that the prince was responsible both for the rise of the Magistrate Vox and the Vox's defeat. In the 4th era, Narafin, a Thalmor general, who led the Aldmeri Dominion's assault on the Imperial City, was said to have been a Boethiah worshipper, who intended to bring about the prophecy known as the Culling, an implementation of which involved a mass Daedric summoning. Allegedly, a large Boethiah cult was operating under his orders and active during the Great War, with the Dremora Blade Master Reeve having been granted Goldbrand by Boethiah and working with the cult. Narafin was defeated in battle and hanged from the White Gold Tower for 33 days, with one source claiming he was carried away by a winged Daedra on the 34th day. Boethiah's current arch-rival is Molag Bal. To say that these two Daedra hate each other would be a massive understatement. There is a good reason for this, however, as there is a fundamental difference in belief between the two Daedric princes. Molag Bal expects those who worship him to obey him without question. On the other hand, Boethiah expects her followers to actively question and oppose authority, and despises it when mortals attempt to appeal to her with bent knees and words of adoration. Molag Bal seeks strength for himself, while Boethiah looks for strength in others. The two could not be more different. Their differences are not the only things setting them apart. The two princes have some record of antagonizing one another. In the past, Boethiah has sent her followers to desecrate Molag Bal's holy sites on many occasions throughout history, and likewise Molag Bal has returned the favour to Boethiah. We even saw this in Skyrim, where Molag Bal explains this to the Dragonborn.
A Daedric lord has his enemies, and my rival Boethiah had her priest desecrated.
Molag Bal retaliates in kind, by getting the Dragonborn to hunt and track down Boethiah's priest and bring him back to the shrine to complete his ritual, and then gets the Dragonborn to kill the priest. Molag Bal, however, keeps reviving Boethiah's priest, bringing him back to life to break his will and get him to denounce his fealty to Boethiah. Boethiah has 3 known artifacts in the world of Nirn: Fearstruck, Ebony Mail, and the Goldbrand. Fearstruck took the form of a shield and it belonged to Lusirus, a Tamrielic hero famous for leading his army against the Akaviri slave traders in their homeland of Akavir. The shield, however, was completely obliterated by the fiery breath of a worm, who Lusirus encountered after his army was routed. The Ebony Mail is an ebony suit of armour. The artifact grants its wearer resistance to fire and magical attacks, magical protection from physical blows, quieter movement, and the ability to poison enemies who get too close. The artifact was created before recorded history by Boethiah, and it is Boethiah alone who determines who should possess the Ebony Mail, and for how long at a time. The last Dragonborn was awarded the artifact for eliminating Boethiah's former champion. The Goldbrand is an iconic ancient artifact, which takes the form of a golden katana. It was created by the dragons of the north. According to the legends of thieves, it was given to a great knight who was sworn to protect the dragons. It is said to contain the power of the Daedric prince Boethiah. The gold brand is capable of inflicting devastating burns upon those that it strikes. The champion of Cyrodiil and the Nerevarine have both possessed this legendary blade for serving Boethiah. Boethiah's influence on Tamriel has been huge. She has been the embodiment of change throughout history, and I for one believe that the Prince of Plots will once again try to rewrite history as she sees fit.